In the bluegrass, Flame Away wasn't that fast until February when he exploded with 2 consecutive new tops. That last one represents over 7 points of development from his 2-year-old top, and we expect a bounce. Free Drop Billy ran a couple of good ones last year before catching a dead rail in the juvenile. He returned with a new top, then backed up a little last time. This is an 0-2, but there's a good chance this colt will run well. The new top didn't represent that much development, and he's coming back on 4 weeks rest. Good Magic ran well in 2 losing efforts to start his career, then even better to win the juvenile. In his return, he spotted weight and raced wide and ran much better than it looked. He matched his Breeders' Cup effort. This is a great pattern that should produce a pair up or a new top, and Good Magic is definitely the one to beat. The danger is that he could get hung wide again. Note that Chad Brown does just as well on off tracks as everything else. Gotta Go established a decent 2-year-old top, came out this year a little better, then backed up a little. He's similar to Free Drop Billy, only a couple of points slower, and is one of many that could get into the exotics at a big price. Kanthaka exploded to a huge figure in his 3rd lifetime start, and it was an 8-point new top. Not surprisingly, he went back last time, but still finished 3rd behind a couple of big names, which will cause him to take money here. We think the big effort will hurt him for a while, and he's more likely to keep going back than head forward from his last. The Cheesemo jumped to a big figure sprinting in February and didn't go back too much when sent 2 turns and racing wide. It's tough to know whether or not those efforts will set him back, and he's got a terrible draw, but he's one of the fastest horses going in, and he'll be long. Marconi didn't get started until November and wasn't that fast until his last. That effort was concealed by a very wide trip, which means he'll be a price here. With 5 weeks rest in Pletcher, there's a good chance he'll run well again, and he can be used in exotics. Quip was solid but not fast last year, then came out with a 5.5-point new top in his return. Pairing up probably won't be good enough here, and a bounce is more likely. Sporting Chance is another that jumped to a new top in his last, a big figure concealed by a wide trip, and good enough to give him a shot to win this if he can repeat it from an inside post. It is a 4-point top, but it's also only 4 points better than he ran 8 months ago. At the price, we're going to use this one. Zing Zang got to a figure that makes him borderline relevant 2 back, then had trouble in his last. This one drew the rail, and Asmussen tells his riders to save ground, giving this one a shot for the exotics. The bottom line in the bluegrass is that Good Magic has to be used and mostly on top. But what makes this race interesting is the exotics, since Flame Away, Kanthaka, and Quip will all take money, and we don't like any of them.